Greetings. Cultured Expression Day with you. WorldJamGlobal.com. We are move in the sphere of sound, and we want to talk about Ramadan. We want to talk about badness. We want to talk about time. So we'll start with time. Yeah. Nothing else will make you feel this way.
Randy, clear. Now we teach people they want to live. Down. Yeah. Wow, wow, wow. Check it. Don't you dare disrespect it. I say you got to hold it down. Keep your feet on the ground and never give up. No, they go in against her. No, I say you got to hold it down. Keep your feet on the ground and never give up. No, they go in against her. Another bill again. Stop buying up, stop buying up. Price gone up and everything again. Price gone up, price gone up. I know it hard but tell you never give up, my friend. Never you give up. Cause only you can stop yourself and make it in the life, I tell you again. Lord, wow. No bad that thing, no fit go thief and go slaughter. No. Grab a shovel and better you mix in matter. No type of slackness, the rasta not charter. Hey, must have the faith and wholesale and see I harder. No fat do things me swear to God did no call for. Them kick themselves and 6 to 6 them go under. Hey, liberation for the people run the play and I chant for. Listen the part, yeah.
I said you got to hold it down. Keep your feet on the ground and never give up. Go to going might get so rough. You know you got to hold it down. Keep your feet on the ground and never give up. Even though it might get so rough. Buckle my shoes and make sure some my lace up. Married to poverty, you need a breakup. So hold it down and I'm telling you straight up. I know you dream but I'm telling you wake up. Shuffle the deck, the system need a shake up. A robbery cause everybody scrape up. Chapter a day, me chant a mill a shake up. Stay strong, the only way is up there. Them want you run behind them like you want them shop around. Boys scarce so there's no option for your shop around. And the youths resort to violence, hear the cop around when cops around. Tired to hear the helicopters round. Cause it's not pretty when you look and see your brother and hear him cry and singing out like a cappella. And feeling like him in a pain and it's forever but never give up cause life is full of treasure.
I say you got to hold it down and keep your feet on the ground and never give up. You got to hold it down.
Keep your feet on the ground
and
bring him up.
My love is so, yeah. Your love is so, your love is so, love is so, so pure, yeah. Gather yourselves, my people. We're going home with the King of Kings. His own is strong, yeah. And there's nowhere to hide that evil. You're going down, dividing, suppressing the righteous. Oh, you think I know me? Said the wicked them a try. We overcome no matter the pressure them apply. That they share blood, it can never die. We keep on striving and children nothing I got change until our Africa unite. The whole world know yet them still want we fight. Fattening them scoffers while the innocent keep on paying the price. So gather yourselves, my people. We're going on. King of Kings, his son is strong. Yeah, there is nowhere to hide that evil. They're going down, dividing, oppressing the righteous. Who want to order when we be the Ketajama? Promise the land, you what that's how we are come. Where angels love to be. Singing everlasting songs of our wisdom. Self-reliance is the key. Got to keep striving, yes, for prosperity. Oh, what a day when we reach Zion, you see. Oh, Lord, we singing, yes, harmony. Jah love is all.
Come on, come on, come on, come on. Yeah, yeah. I'm catching my vibes and my foundation, roots in my culture long. Yeah. Bad mind no work. You need more than that fi stop me. Bad mind no work. Can't give me nothing in a weed fi mad me. Bad mind no work. You need more than that fi stop me. Bad mind no work. No, no, no. I've been traveling this road.
Now I want to play for you. Yes, that we are saying, bad mind not work. You understand? It not work, and it won't work. So we want to go into some time and look at time and discuss time and listen to time as a Muslim.
The earth that can appreciate time, it is the human being. Some people call the past history. That's what history is, the past. I was on a radio program and we was talking about slavery. 400 years of slavery in America. What we was talking about was not outside of America. We kept it in America. And a person called in and said, I'm tired of hearing people talk about the past. I said, well, that's what history is, the past. We're talking about history. How you not going to talk about what have happened so you can learn from it? So people think if you don't talk about a problem, it make it go away. It ain't went nowhere. So if you read the Quran from Al-Fatiha to Al-Nas, from the first surah chapter to the last, you will read about history. You read about Pharaoh. You read about Moses. You read about these great empires. Why Allah want us to know about that? So we can not be like them in some cases. And in other cases, so we can be like them. Because some of them are success stories. But when Allah talked about He opened up the earth and caused the whole city to go into the earth and then caused the earth to come back together. And we don't even know where that city is today. He's teaching us. So again, let us be aware of time. Let us be conscious of time. And let us use time to our advantage, where we never have to say, I regret doing this or I regret doing that. If we use our time wisely, there would be no regrets. We would be happy in how we use our time. And I think all of us, we can improve how we use our time. A lot of our time is wasted. No accountability. You can't even account for it. We see people on the corner, standing on the corner as though if they leave, the corner going to flop up. How they going to account for that time that they was on that corner? What they do with it? Allah going to question you. I gave you time. How did you use the time? It was a gift. It was a blessing for me to you. How did you use it? And we want to be able to say we used it to the max. We use it in the best manner, not the worst. So it's really not how long you live. It's how well you live. It's the quality, not the quantity. The quality of life. And the best quality of life are those who submit themselves to do the will of Allah. That's the best quality of time. So let us not be people who abuse time, who take it for granted. As my daddy used to say, boy, if you don't be careful, you'll be late for your own funeral. And I said, Daddy, what you mean by late for my own funeral? He said, well, everybody's present waiting on you. So all these people, what y'all here for the funeral? What's holding it up? The body is not here yet. So even with death, you made everybody late. So let us be grateful for time. And let us always reflect. You know, 2/3 of the Quran help us to reflect. As they say today, think about it. Think about it. God said, think, for surely thinking benefit the thinker. And surely those who don't think, they are losers. So we have to think so we won't do the same thing the same way. I learned from that. I acknowledge I did it, but I won't do the same way again. I learned from it. And that's why many old people tell young men, I used to be just like you, but I don't want you to end up like me. Leave that liquor alone. Leave them drugs alone. Because this person is messed up from using drugs and alcohol, and they're telling a younger man, don't do what I did. So, dear believers, beginning next Friday, we'll be having Juma at 1 o'clock. The only reason we didn't have it at 1 o'clock today, we failed to make the announcement to you last week, and I believe it would have caused more confusion since we didn't announce it last Friday. But, you know, I thought about it. I said to myself, there are people coming to this masjid today, and they think Juma starts at 1 o'clock. Maybe we should continue to trick them for them to be on time. But as a Muslim, we can't trick you. But it sure got you here early, I tell you. Got to tell them to get here at 1 o'clock to be here by 1:45. What is this, man? 1 o'clock means 1 o'clock. But I was looking at the people coming thinking Juma was at 1 o'clock. Now listen to that. They thought it was at 1 o'clock now, and they got here at 1:15. And then when I told them 1:45, they said, phew. That was early. They thought they were late. And let us try to work harder to come to the Juma on time. You know, there are certain people so far this year that have never made Juma on time. They made it on that job on time. They're supposed to have been there at 7 o'clock. They were there at 6 o'clock, took a nap in the car. They're making sure they don't be late on that job. So how valuable is Juma to you? Every Friday you late, not sometimes, every Friday you late. That tell me it don't mean much to you. This Juma, it don't mean much to you. We really should be early. When you get real good, you're early for the Juma because you value it. Yeah, you want to hear that first adhan, the first call. So again, let us work on coming to the Juma on time and take the rush out of it. And rushing is not from Allah, it's from the devil. If you live in Atlanta, you know what time of day it is, and you know what time it takes to get from point A to point B in Atlanta. And you have to learn to knock off so you can be at the Juma on time. In our closing, dear believers, let us make time Abdullah. Make time our servant. People get paid by the hour. People get paid by the day. Some people get paid every 2 weeks. Some people get paid once a month. All of that is within the framework of time. $15 an hour, $30 an hour. Why do people pay you by the hour? Because they know time is valuable, and I can't and will not pay you what you actually is worth. So I'm going to give you $15 an hour, but I'm making money off for you. But let me give some kind of token of appreciation for taking up your time. You go to the doctor, many times they got to sign up. You go to the lawyer, you got to sign up. Every 30 minutes, there's a fee. 1 hour, there's a fee. So if we can look at time in that sense, it's valuable, then whenever you start dealing with time, you will see it as valuable. Not something cheap, a valuable commodity. See it as valuable. My time is valuable. When I go to the college campuses, I always tell the students, one promise I make to you when I come before you, I promise I will not waste your time. and I want you to promise me you won't waste my time. A mutual agreement. And I don't charge any money. I just ask you to pay attention. That's it. And we begin our program. But time, if you're foolish, it means nothing. At the end of the day, zero accomplishment. It's only 24 hours in a day. This is what they round it off to, 24 hours, really 23 hours, 56 minutes, and 46 seconds. And at the end of the day, you want some accomplishment. At the end of the week, accomplishment. At the end of the month, accomplishment. At the end of the year, accomplishment. But if you're not valuable time, it go by, you have nothing to show. Nothing at all. You be questioning somebody, you sure you 75 years old? You sure? Yeah, I'm 75. And you don't have a house? You don't have a car? You don't have a wife? You don't want none of these things? You sure you 75 years old? You sure you've been on this earth 75 years? Come on, man. Come on now. Because you're supposed to have some accomplishment. So nobody should look for short life. Everybody should be looking for long life. Nobody should be seeking to take their life. The righteous people want long life so they can do more good deeds, so that scale will be heavy with more good deeds. The wicked person want long life so I can ask Allah to forgive me for some of these sins I did and try to replace them with some good deeds. So no one should wish for short life.
So that's time. You know, it's our brother from the States giving a rendition of time. Very important. Now we go to Africa again. We are talking about food. The African continent, soup at dinner.
First of all, let me thank you. I've prepared 2 papers which I believe will be circulated because they'll not be projected. But if you can see, first of all, I want to agree with the Honorable Minister. I've done 2 pictorials. One of them is described as Africa at the dinner table. And if you look at Africa at the dinner table, Africa is on a plate and it is meat. And the diners at the dinner table are France, the United Kingdom, the United States, the European Union, the Chinese, and progressively the Arabs. And my second picture is the African hotspots. It's not visible from there. But if you look at Africa today and you make a clean sweep with your mind, there are different conflicts of different intensity in Somalia, in northern Mauritania, in northern Mali, in Central African Republic, Democratic Republic of Congo, Guinea-Bissau, in the Cameroons, in South Sudan, and one can go on and on. And there is a sense in which Africa has always been alive to the question of interference. I will refer this audience, particularly those who are starting, to take time and read the 32 odd speeches that were made in the month of May 1963 by the then heads of states and government of independent African states, the 32 of them. And there are 2 speeches that I want to isolate for this presentation. One was by David Dacko of Central African Republic. And in thanking Emperor Haile Selassie and Kwame Nkrumah on that day, he said that we must never forget that the colonial power has not left us. We must recognize that he did not go willingly. And if we don't check them, they'll come back again. And what would little Central African Republic do against them? Today, he is right. Today, if we remember the activities of France and how they have propped up the regime of Jean Bedel Bokassa, he was right. Today, as the Honorable Minister has indicated, Africa remains the only continent in the world that is referred to in these terms, Anglophone, to mean that we are a sphere of our erstwhile colonizers. About 2 weeks ago, there was a meeting of the Commonwealth in London, England, and a friend of mine who is an Anglophile sent me the photograph very gleefully, saying this is a meeting of 53 equal states. I told him, no. If it was so, why is it that the leadership of the Commonwealth is hereditary rather than rotational? In other words, in the minds of the British, her former colonies are still under her tutelage. And I want to submit to us that in the minds of what I'll call the conceptual West, they think they have a divine duty to instruct Africans what to do.
True.
And in the minds of many African leaders, they think that they have a divine duty to accept what they are told. That, in my view, is what the Honorable Minister was talking about, the mindset. And this is something that has been examined. We have seen France and its very pernicious presence in Africa. We know what they did in Burkina Faso against Thomas Sankara. We know what they did in Mali or the Sudan against Modibo Keita or against Sékou Touré in Guinea. Pernicious to the core. The Portuguese, we know what battles had to be fought in that area. And let me put this very bluntly. When the former leader of Portugal, Marcelo Caetano, was asked, why can you not allow the colonies to gain independence? This is what he said in substance. As I have examined world history over the years, the following have emerged. That the Caucasians have been responsible for monumental discoveries in the development of man. So have the Chinese, so have the Arabs. But the Africans have been responsible for nothing. They are only fit as hewers of wood and drawers of water. And I want to submit to you who are present here that in the conceptual West's unguarded moments, or guarded moments, that is what they think. And that is how they relate to Africa. So the whole idea that they will interfere is something that they think is their God-given duty. I said there were two speeches in 1963 that I wanted to refer to. I referred to David Dacko. The second one was the speech by Kwame Nkrumah. And Kwame provided the solution. He did not complain about colonialism. He said, we must live here with one army, with one command. We must live here with one currency. We must live here with one currency, one country. I do not know where its capital will be, but I suggest Leopoldville or Bangui. Other leaders may have their thoughts. Kwame was right, but who listened to him? Several years down the line, and I've said it in my paper, there were coup d'etats which were engineered, there were mutinies which were engineered, and other forms of destabilization. And I want to believe that the person who actually said it very well in the 1980s was the former American President Ronald Reagan. He said, the United States of America does what is in her best interest. And I agree with him. Does Africa do what is in her best interest? Do African leaders do what is in the best interest of Africa? Interference will be there in very blatant and brazen ways and in subtle ways. I've always asked, until very recently, how many African countries manufactured bullets? Very few. Until very recently, how many African countries, in fact, how many African countries manufacture jet fighters? How many African countries are involved in the arms industry? Some of the leading conceptual West countries which pontificate to us about prizes, peace prizes, are the leading manufacturers of landmines. And if you look at their foreign exchange earners, it is the military and security items. So they say with their mouths, what do they not believe in their hearts? In Kiswahili we say, vita vya panzi furaha ya kunguru. That when the locusts are fighting, it is the joy of the hawk. Because when they kill each other, they get the food easily, dead. It is in the best interest, I dare submit, without fear of contradiction, that the elite in the conceptual West does not want Africa to stabilize, despite their assertion to the contrary. And you'll see it in every country because conflict is a major industry. Today, you look at South Sudan and the many peace conferences that are being held. But if you ask who supplies the arms, who provides safe havens, it is the conceptual West. And when I use the term conceptual West, I'm saying that it extends to countries which are geographically not in the West, like Australia or Canada. So I'm submitting in answer to your question, Joe, that interference is there, and it is part, to use this old cliche, of the neo-colonial project. The neo-colonial project requires that Africa must remain within the sphere of influence of these states. Today, if you look at the United Kingdom, which has left Europe, one would have thought that those are their cousins and that they should sit in comfort with them. You will now see their involvement being de-emphasized in Europe and their interest and appetite growing towards the Commonwealth. Because in the Commonwealth, they are the major domos. They'll tell us what to do. In Europe, they have to grapple with the Germans and the French, and they don't like it. That is the unspoken bit of it. The French also are in Europe, but the Germans are too strong, and they don't like it. So they want to hold Côte d'Ivoire, Gabon, and tell them what to do. I do not know how many of you saw the press conference that was attended by President Macron of France and Nana Addo of Ghana. And when Nana Addo spoke as an African should, you could see the body language of the French president. How dare this man speak this way? In other words, I'm saying that interference is the mother's milk of European economies. But to answer your second question, they have their own recruits who Professor Philip Nying'oro will be speaking here. To use the old vocabulary of those days, they have the people you call their comprador bourgeoisie. You must remember. The comprador bourgeoisie are Africans with black faces, but essentially they are doing the bidding of these powers. They are the ones you'll find them in different spheres. And they will be present. They are in your cabinet, but they are actually representatives of the foreign intelligence agencies of those countries. We know this. If you look at the declassified papers from the United States, we now know that some of leading cabinet ministers in many African countries were working for the CIA or some Western agencies. So you are sitting in cabinet, and in these days of the mobile phone, they are possibly texting their masters in Europe and America. So interference is also exacerbated by these comprador bourgeois for their own benefits. And it has never changed, Honorable Minister. In the early days of slavery, they gave some of the chiefs mirrors and alcohol. Today, what they give them are flats in Paris or in Dubai. And that is what makes them undermine Africa. The third mode of interference is through institutions. Look at the competition as it is now. There is a new entrant into the market that is called China. China is very subtle. Many people wrote the obituary of Rwanda in 1994. 20 years down the line, it has been demonstrated that Africans can actually do it. Between 1983 and 1987, I think Thomas Sankara in Burkina Faso also demonstrated that it can be done. We saw in Somalia, despite their problem. So my prescription is African unity. Africa must now begin to negotiate initially in terms of blocks, SADC, ECOWAS, East African Community, and ultimately as African Union. And lo and behold, we must do it. And I've always said this cliche, we must do it, because if we don't do it, we will be done. Thank you.
Yes, Africa. If we don't do it, we'll be done. We will be done. We play them clips there, we'll show you one. We Muslims, we work dutifully with time. We have to orchestrate ourselves, and we do. And we try to do these things to the best of our abilities. Brother Lewimba is extremely forward thinking about the continent. But we pray God say nobody hinders him, because he's on it. Yeah. Ramadan is 9 days out of 30. And the 9th day is just going. We'll be just going at what time? 18 minutes past 9. No. Yes. So, no, we are break with fast at mercy. Yeah, we are break with fast at 3 minutes past 9 and praying at 18 minutes past 9. So that's Ramadan. We are look upon on Ramadan is that we have people, any individual who have an ailment should not be fasting. So these are for the skeptics about we. You understand? People who have diabetes should not be fasting. People who have variant ailments, high glucose level, high cholesterol levels, and also people that can suffer right now from dehydration because of the weather change. So if we take that into consideration and know say that on the continent is maximum heat, and we have millions of people on the continent that are Muslims that are observing the fast. Like I said, Tuesday, I left England and went on the continent to observe Ramadan twice. You understand? Just to see how our brothers and sisters, our families cope with that under them nature conditions, natural conditions, that heat. Yes, that heat. So we say that sisters who are pregnant cannot be fasting. Sisters who are on their cycles will not be fasting. And they will make up their cash at the end of Ramadan or throughout the year before we return. So these things we are saying because some people they believe say that we is a cult or we have certain means from men and certain proportion for women. them just following, just like the brother was saying, them following the European Caucasian construct and try to lambaste anything that them hear these people say about Al-Islam, like female genital mutilation, and are Islamic. It's not Muslims. It's something that takes place among people on the continent and people outside the continent. You understand? It's not just African people. You understand? It's not just African people, but you have these feminists and these other people that always throwing stones, and them have glass house and then I look upon themselves. Right? Just like same-sex marriages and things. We not deal with them things there. Right? So we have all people that try twist people around and make television program and show Muslims in this type of, so alleged, because of drama, but at the same time, you have the mayor canvassing and campaigning like Barack Obama and all them something there. So we deal with these things. You understand? That is no criteria for African people not to look and examine and read Al-Quran. You understand? That there's no validity in stupidity. You understand? The best thing to do is read the thing yourself. And then we have some people who tell others that them was Muslim for a day and it did this and did that, so them now left and gone back, or them is a naturalist, them is a spiritualist, or them find Akana, or them find such and such. But you can't come to something for a day, a week, a few months, and just because you never get a sister for go with, you come with some disparities. You know, live. Again, Al-Islam is a way of life. It has thousands of do's and thousands of don'ts. It has principles. You understand? It has rights. We are meant to, as human beings, stay away from the negatives that man do and try to be the best we can as a one. And once you do that to yourself, obviously you would show likewise in others. So we have goodness in a group that then you call a community, a nation. You understand? And with us, we call it an ummah to Islam. So them disparities of human behavior and tendencies, right, is something we tolerate because they're always trying to undress our women and they always want our men not to be manly. Yeah? And they feel say that we have a problem because the women must dress modest. Them feel say we have a problem. Any man who see the beauty and the shape of a woman is him refine himself. Better phrase that word. Unless him is one of them man there who say him a like woman. Really suppressing it. He's a liar, but he's suppressing it. So them people that want to say that we have a problem. We're not a problem. It's God tell we say. You understand? Observe yourself and stay dutiful and kind and respectful at all times. So in society, people run around and watch people breasts. Listen to what is happening now. Since July, August, September, October, November, December, all of these filth throughout 2017. The closet door, the attic door, the cellar, everything just got flushed out. You think say all the things that them throw at Cosby is only him? Eh? The Hollywood genius, them arrest him? Them throw anything at him? It's the day him saying he's going to give himself into the police. Months now, them say he was in some hospice dealing with his mind. Come on, mate. That was a black man. And then here comes the fall guy. This actor. Brother turn around and say him apologize. Huh? They're all gonna fall, man. Anything you do in darkness will sure come to light. Whether they are Hollywood or Hollywood. You understand? Bad behavior. You see? So these are the things that stirs up people. We not sell car and put a woman up there. We not go running and put a woman out there. All these things. You know? So Allah says, avoid these things. To avoid these things, the women have to take care of themselves in a modest manner, and the man have to lower him gears. And respect the first teacher. Respect the one that bore you. Respect her to the best. And protect her too, where where necessary. Oh yes. There are many Muslims who are in jail for representing their daughters and representing other people. And they call them fanatics. We're not fanatics. Maybe extreme, but we're not fanatics. Right? And extreme to our people like us now, who's not representing and supporting our sisters, our women. We have dancehall that are brothels. We have dancehall that are sex scenes. These are things that are happening in our countries and in our so-called dancehall sessions and things like that. And then we wonder why we have all these problems. We not face up to the facts and the reality. We have people them a push drugs, hardcore drugs, seducing our children to be carriers. So avoid detection from police and create a market on the street. And then when another person are moving on the same action, then they want to say, well, my money shot. What? Take care of it. So then you have rivalry in other thing. And then you get death in other thing. Because maybe one of the youth, them high on this something. And they have no fear. You understand? So it comes back to us educating ourselves. Are we? We're talking. Pastor to be shepherd. One of the speech that the pastor give at the wedding, he spoke a great deal of the shepherd. He must have said, hey, that boy them know something about the man's script. To hell with that. What you are reading, you not read right. You're following popular opinion and popular views. Just like Rasta. Rasta never had nothing called Christianity and nothing called Bible. And then Rasta finish up with fables in Bibles and Jeremy rhymes of Bible. And taking certain thing like Sila and making it Selassie. When it's... Anyhow. So these are the things. And we just move on with these things and make ourselves feel, say, yes. Gadman come with the 12 tribes of Israel and Bible. Did Owl have a Bible? Christian. Did the early Nyabingi, did Bingi have a Bible? Christian. See? So the disturbances back to foundation of truth. So education and people who is being hypnotized and influenced by, again, theological education. We, a people, need to see education as sacred, but we do not. In England, the first African Caribbean school was John Loughborough, coming out of a sacred institution called church. But they use their cultured realization and they use their collective authority, wanting to represent their people, and orchestrated a school, i.e. develop a school. Nothing sense. But the Rufuses appeared in latter years, going to the masters, because it was independent from the offset and running the national curriculum, being taught mainly by us. We have the potential and most the capability of doing again. But I don't hear no discussions based on the fact that such exist, and we need to look at that model. Very important. Education says instructions. It says training. It says tutoring. It says teaching. In teaching, it says philosophy. And from philosophy, you have views and opinions, but viewpoints of what? Our culture, our ethics, our morals, and our principles. It allows us to think about ourselves, our culture, our morals, our ethics, and our principles. Our attitudes. Because a society that do not, our community that do not have a philosophy and do not have good attitudes, mannerisms, and a moral and morals, has to either be absorbed by another or influenced by another, or to hell doesn't exist, period. But since that be not the case, because we're human beings alive, is that why the Pan-Africans speak so much about Marcus Garvey? Because the book is a philosophy, is an opinion. Being that correct that it is the philosophy and opinions, is it being instituted as in some form of orchestration, some application? No. The honoring of the man is fine, but the application of what the man wanted to do, tried to do, and projected that is required for the Africans at home and abroad is not being attempted to. Let us say it was. Where is it? See? So that's where we fool ourselves. We used to have a teacher, and I always used to say, now, a community teacher. You understand? He used to always say, let's not fool ourselves. When that brother get up and start talk, him say, let's not fool ourselves. We have a lot of work to do. we have a lot of work to do. And when I'm finished, it will says the same thing. Let's not fool ourselves. No one is going to do this or do anything for us but us. And we will walk Holloway Road and say, why? Let's not fool ourselves. That's a serious thing, you know. And he raised us with that. So we understand not to be tricked by people with their smart ass tongues. Huh? And that's what's happening still. Our children are responding to what philosophies or philosophers or social engineers have put in front of them. They've been influenced by such. And we haven't got a response for it. What popular people who speaks do is highlight exactly what is actually happening. It's that cause and effect situation. They surmise so much of what is causing the problem or the situation and not getting a solution. Them know everything, but they ain't got no solution. And since they know everything, they don't proportional blame to me, the father of one of them children or a child. Am I really qualified to be a father? No sperm donor qualifies to be a father unless them understand what it is to be a father and accept full responsibility and be dutiful in that. But him decide that him gonna go forth and multiply and quadruply and not take no responsibility. So as him go through one and then him find two, him become slick and trickified. And then feels he's a done of something because him know how to whisper. So he's a snake. And whistle in the girl's ear. And then it penetrate and produce and them gone. So him feel smart. And then the state raised these children. Most of them are raised by the state. The state influences them, society. So they react to an environment. They react. And then the police infiltrates them, subdue them, entrap them, traumatize them. And the poor sister is running from pillar to post trying to represent that child. So that man is still waiting for that child to be a footballer, an earner, a potential earner. But then him hear say, such and such is in jail, or is in hospital, I'm dead. And likewise, we not talk about the sisters, the females. The females are tried to be hot queen, dancehall queen. And she turned that thing inside out, upside down, all the way around, because she have seen. So she wants to do something more eccentric. But she's still 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. And being abused. Mentally, psychologically, morally, ethically abused. And physically abused. She's entrapped by those who are meant to be protecting her, supporting her, encouraging her to be a young woman, a young lady, a studious person that eventually will be someone's wife, a bearer of children, if God so permits, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if nature so permits. But we don't get that because we not deal with ethics, principles, and morals. We're not. We talk around these things and we accuse education and not dealing with education ourselves to allow our children, even ourselves, to think. If we don't develop thought from a learning perspective, what the hell use are we to anyone? And we're not talking about viewpoints, because everyone has the power of thought to do earnest things or to do wrong things, to act favoritively or to act infavoritively. This is the power of our minds and our brain and our thoughts. This is it. So let's go with the scriptures, Cain and Abel. Everybody want to be Cain. Why? Because Cain stayed alive. Well, I'm Abel. I'm not Cain. And Muslims are Abel, not Cain. We shy away and run away from Cain. We do. Don't let this terrorist nonsense make you think, yeah, we terrorize people the way I'm talking now. We don't terrorize no goddamn body. But those people who are allegedly terrorizing the system, have a glance at the country to which they come from. Have a glance at 73 years of Palestine, and you see apartheid. And why is I'm saying that? Have a glance at South Africa and see that we were turned into apologists. Nothing changed for our brothers and sisters, our children in Soweto. Nothing's changed, man. Don't let them tell you about party time and all this goodness that goes on and all how the cities look good and the middle class Africans, the middle class South Africans, all the shit they're talking about. Yes, the shanty town still exists. Impoverishedness among the black people of South Africa is gross. The killing of the people in Palestine goes on. The land grabbing goes on by people who don't belong there, never come from there. Backed by some bloodthirsty bloodletters, weapons of mass destruction manufacturers, and so on and so on. And Africa is coming to the same, because we never changed anything. Now look at us. They're speaking so much every damn day that we kill ourselves. We're getting the same Chicago thing. We're getting the same thing. Man down there kill people and taking their bodies and selling their parts, and because the ground was already laid saying, yeah, you kill yourself. So when somebody get dead, it's alleged that we did it when it's others doing it at the same time. But we have such a big problem. What about the cleanup? See, we have a big problem. So when we let these things and involve ourselves with these Yankee boys that ain't on the page, they're all about numbers on YouTube, and they're all about something that ain't real, but yet still we're embracing that. Now, when the guns come from the home counties coming into the urban area, who the hell you think they're coming for? Come September, when the stop and search, extensified stop and search, with all backed by all that money, who you think is going to be stop and search? Who you think is going to be traumatized? Our children paying their first day, the first week into secondary education. Isn't it going to be a trauma? Do you think they're going to want to go down that road again? Do you think they're going to be cordially sincere and happy in school? Do you think they're going to be able to respond? How could it be? And I want my child to be able, not Cain. Don't you see the scripture show you? Say Cain lusts for arguments. Cain lusts for greed. He jealousy, keep looking and still concentrate on his own actions. He was busy watching. He felt that his brother was more favored than him because what? He don't know. He doesn't know. He didn't know. He assumed with his mind of thought. And then heat, the rage of heat, got to his system. He knew not of murder, but the rage of heat, which is a passion, emotional state, took him out. And that's what happens to us. All of us. Not just one set of people. All of us. This is one of the frailties, the development of the man. And he struck out and killed his brother. Hit him and killed him. Moses did the same. You forgot that? He was representing a person because he sees someone was ill-treated. Now, he had an understanding of reason, but he didn't reason, he strike out. But we weren't told, but you all weren't told, the Quran we are told, what was said. Because he did reason. He did reason. So in trying to rectify, deal with a situation, he find himself having to defend himself in a situation, and on this defend, he struck back. And with the power, that person died. That was Moses. What's the similarity? These are the things that happens to us. But we are creating the environment, that space ourselves. And we're being seduced to do that. Because we don't teach. We don't teach. We don't tutor. We try to instruct. But we're not consistent. So let me put a sound system thing inside and a music thing inside and you see how we can be if we start at the top. If we start at that which is best for us, the same way we outshine the birds, and we create such rhythms, and we write so well, so the thing flows, whether it's a protest piece of lyrics, whether it's a love ballad, we're good at that. That shows that once we decide to do for self by first analyzing ourselves and don't be afraid of the criticizer, the criticism of the criticizer, we be fine. But we need to say that more and understand that and don't feel that you are following a Muslim, you're following a brother, a human being like yourself. When the pastor become a shepherd and do the shepherd's duty, I too will be guided, corrected by that shepherd. I too. I will favor that shepherd, those individuals. But being a pastor, he might work for the opposition. And some know it and some don't know it. And some are very good at exploiting the minds and the feeling and the emotions of the people because they're very good at psychology. Very good. So education is sacred to us. But we need to embrace it, understand it. We have a number of supplementary schools. Should not some of those schools work together in developing the best syllabus or even using the same syllabus that's here, but take the best out of what we have as human resource and work it together and then find the common ground to pull in the resources together again to go for a national school? It's not difficult to think about that. But then you're looking across the field and you're saying, look at those Asians, look at these people. Why the hell are you doing looking? Why don't you do likewise? If you sense that what they're doing is something good and cherishing, you should then try to adapt yourself to that same principle and try to do it for ourselves. But since that's not where you're thinking, is that because you just like to condemn, it ain't working. None of those things are working. I'm not against Marcus Garvey, so don't get that damn thing going on in your head. What I'm against is all those people who try to say that they love him and they ain't done no application, man. They're just theorists. We love the Prophet of Islam, Muhammad Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. We would die for Al-Islam. We would. You understand? But we know of the Prophet. We follow the Prophet. We obey the Prophet. And we attempt to fall in love with the Prophet. You understand? Our life is an institution based on the Prophet's doings and sayings and his commands. Simple. But those others who can't get this far says, oh, it's an Arab thing, it's an Arab thing. Stop it, man. Try walk a mile in the Prophet's shoes. And we're not talking about Elijah Muhammad, but our Father Muhammad. Please, try walk a mile in the Prophet's shoes. Spend a week examining Muhammad Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Spend a week living, factoring the leadership and the guidance and the thinking of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And I could assure you, not miracles, a deeper understanding of life. But you have a philosophy. We all have philosophy. We all can create philosophies. Is it living, though? Or is it based on covert operations? Mr. Bess. Yo, stand at ease, man. I'm going to share something with you, because I love to be I try to be truthful. You see, today, in this time of Ramadan, because insincerity and badness with people when it comes to money and when it comes to the loss of a family. You have some silly things that people do. And I ask myself today, if I would be like Cain, and I answered myself with haste and with anger that I can be like Cain, just to represent my brother and goodness of virtues, I can be like Cain. But would that be good to be like Cain based on those conditions and circumstances? No. No. See? And that's what attitudes that is not being guided, is not being viewed, it's not being tutored. There's no form of intervention from like-minded people that's dealing with sincerity, leave you in that type of limbo. And then things become a tragedy. And then little more, if I only but knew. What the hell if you only but knew? You knew all along. But Shaitan is a heat. Go find him and arrest him and let's take him to court and charge him for corrupting mankind, our kind of man. There's nothing. It's part of your soul. It's part of our makeup. We can either accept it or we can control it. It's called the nafs. Al-Islam is called the nafs, your ego, your passion, the emotion that heats you up. Heats you up. Like when the fire them say bonfire. I don't know what they mean. But we can recognize heat and we can recognize your nafs. Yeah. Al-Islam is deep, deep, deep. Connie Crucial Campbell, still in gambling.
Along, daddy press along, trot trot, I press along, daddy press along, trot trot, I press along, daddy press along. Though it rough out there, yeah, we can't get no work out there. So what them want I and I figure do? Even can't get no peace in the tenement yard. Go downtown the same all day. Last night my bed was so bumpy, but I and I lay down feeling bad. I've seen my own brother.
You see, Ali, me tell you one time, you know, me use music like the man them use Bible. And one day I got put by my Bible too, no? Genesis to Proverbs. Genesis to Proverbs in a music. Me might have to ask the boss for all 4 hours and show no. Because you see, attitude and viewpoints and ideas and thinking in the way of life, values, is very important. But the people that keep going round the thing, like magic roundabout, now do nothing but put people in a maze. A maze. Garvey took from all farmer people. Garvey had Muslims and he didn't pick them. The people just happened to be. They just happened to be. Some were Confucianists. Yes. Some was what them called atheists. Some had different alleged Christian denominations from him. But you know what? That didn't matter. Didn't matter.
Man down there, yeah, so press along, natty press along, trot, I press along, natty press along, trot, I press along, natty press along, though it rough out
Wake up, people, wake up, man. We're not sleep too long. Get up for Fragile Prayer. 2 minutes past 3, when the birds will start singing. Instruct your children. Train them.
Last night my bed was so bumpy, but I lay down feeling bad, frustrated and dejected.
Frustrated and dejected.
Brother man down there, yeah, but he that endureth to the end, he shall endure it forever. Come any other, but a few are chosen when Jaja come for his war. Yeah, so press along, natty press along, trot, I press along, natty press along, trot, I press along, natty press along.
Selection. Topsy-turvy? No, man. Good world. It's the people.
What kind of life am I living? Is it a life without love?
You see how this tune here? You couldn't be a sound and not play this tune here. Many versions, you know, not that particular one, you know. Many versions. But here what I have something deep for bring forward, you know. I'll go back in the song clash. Watch this. I intro it and we'll dash it. Go on, you right. I'm full of joy. Yeah, I tell you. Watch how me select, boy, me I tell you.
You cheated,
yeah.
You did, and you lied. You want the promises about all. You are wrong if you do that, baby. Or a fail. You should never do that. You cheated, you should never do a thing like that. And you lied. You are wrong. But how long? Tell about it. You think you'll strive? Tell about it, brother.
Don't kill the goose.
Kill the goose. No, no,
no.
The golden egg. You can hear when the robber says, don't kill the goose. You can hear when it eat and never eat it. The golden egg. Mama Sam will lead the way. Don't kill the goose. And then you can hear him say the golden egg. That's for sure.
If you do that,
you should never do a thing like that.
You'll be wrong.
You are wrong. Tom drunk. But Tom the fool. And that's a fact. He is smart. Tell him about it, brother. Tell him about it.
Here we go.
You can kill him one time. Playing fool. Tell him about it, don't be fooled. To catch a wild. Use your head. And that's a fact. And you'll survive. You can hear when the brother
don't kill it.
So don't kill the goose. No, no, no. Lay the golden egg. Real exclusively yours, I tell you.
The amount of struggles you face, man, I feel give thanks in a real life. In a real life. Hear me, I say no world jam. Rough them up, quiff them.
Listen.
You cheated. Did you hear that?
And you lied.
Hear what the Bible says about all. You are wrong if you do that, baby. Or a fail. You should never do that. You cheated. You should never do a thing like that. And you lied. You are wrong. But how long? Tell about it. You think you'll strive? Tell about it, brother. Don't kill the goose. No, no, no. Lay the golden egg. You can hear when the robber says, don't kill the goose. You can hear when it eat and never eat it.
The amount of struggles we face, man, I feel give thanks in a real life. In a real life. Hear me, I say no world jam. Rough them up, quiff them. The amount of struggles.
Listen, I charge up myself, you know. Watch the ride, man. Soldier come back. Watch him. Alright, Big Rock and Flinty. Sure.
Musical education.
Listen to this musical version.
Come on now, Lobo and rock.
Rock with I. World Jam.
I would tell you.
I set it up, you know. I set it.
If you are young or old,
Let the good times roll, man.
you got to let the good times roll.
How you mean? This is my ace from outer space. Yeah.
Reach out and touch your musical soul.
How you mean?
This is your aid from outer space.
Telling you.
Now you can keep the smiles on your face.
And your musical warm embrace. Yeah.
Cause this is a now generation.
And I tell you, man.
I'm teaching the youth to dig my musical version.
And they must be strong.
Versions from creation.
Version galore.
We pass for no stage and identification.
World Jam Global and the .com.
Whenever I rock you with this version, hit me, Jack.
Tell them.
I tell you about it.
It's good.
Your ace from outer space.
Tell you.
It will be no disgrace.
You mustn't be wrong. When I play my musical sound, I tell you, man, watch your ride.
The amount of struggles we will face, man, I feel give thanks in a real life, in a real life. Hear me say no World Jam, rough them up, quiff them, quiff them, quiff them, quiff them, quiff them, quiff them, quiff them.
Shh. Watch it, man.
Behold,
How good and pleasant it is for an night to dwell together.
For I and our brethren to dwell together in unity in love.
I tell you. Nah, sit up, man. I tell you, watch the ride, man. Pure business.
Love is all I bring. So you gotta let it rain, let it rain, let it rain. Good God, I'm going back home and no more will I roam.
Yo, me appreciate, you know. So the sort of things must be great. So behold how good and pleasant it is for an and I brethren to dwell together and live in love and unity. But you see, first, you must learn to trust. Listen. Listen.
Who starts?
Listen, our teacher.
Dear Ketos, my friend, good day. Hoping you are keeping the best of health. How is the music down there in Boneyard? I hear that Busby have a sound system, and that Naya Keith is the disc jockey. But them can't get no red.
You see me at your show now? We are selectors both here.
Who starts? Dear Ketos, my friend, good day. Hoping you are keeping the best of health. How is the music down there in Boneyard? I hear that Busby have a sound system, and that Naya Keith is the disc jockey. But them can't get no red stripe beer for selling a dance at night. Tell Zaki, the high priest, who used to lead the toughest, one who could go, toughest. Give him my regards.
You must know our Prince Buster, man. Listen, man.
Says, hello.
Easy, Salad Power Massive.
Toughest.
Yeah. Brother Eustace, Brother Georgie.
And Keith, if you listen she Rashi,
Brother
You know
Keith,
Rashid from Bakawa.
Mr. Foster.
Give him my regards. And if you should see the two brothers, Stinky Pummels and Kirpan, we grew together. Tell them, Prince Buster says, so long, sorry we had to go so soon. Since music...
Scene. Boy, watch out now. Let's set the thing up with you right. So here he comes in and we are going to come back to him.
Run for cover now. I'm taking over.
World Jam Global, man. Muslim on the table.
So please step aside, because I ain't gonna sympathize.
Never. No compromise.
Boy, I'm gonna lay it on. From dusk till dawn.
A 1965 rhythm track.
With a right to the head and a left to the cheek. Boy, I'm going to knock you down. With a right to the head and a left to the cheek.
Beat them up, Scratch.
I'm gonna keep the pressure on.
And I named that man, I named Lee Perry. Watch it. Prince, come on. Watch the Prince. Listen. Listen.
Oh, sharp.
British boys, listen, disc jockeys.
All of a sudden, you hear rude boys saying they're not rough, they're not tough. They weren't saying that 3 months ago. Well, I see whereas you have appealed and you have the nerve to bring to my court a barrister from Europe by the name of Dreadlock. First, I'd like to know where he get his locks from. Cause we are the same locks I am going to use and hang him. I am going to save the black nation. Speak, Dreadlock, speak for your client. Your Honor, I think you're very unfair to sentence my client to 400 years and 500 lashes. Hush up!
You know Klein Salis?
I don't care what your name, whether Dreadlock or Lock Dread or what. I don't care what the hell your name. This is my court. Dreadlock, we're going to count together. I want justice. Count how much Chinese are dying. How much white people are dying. How much other nations are dying. Add them, multiply them. Can't amount the amount of black people
Listen,
that are
man.
being killed by these rude boys. And you're talking about to come to my court to defend them? I now charge you, Barrister Dreadlock, for racial injustice and slave trading.
Listen.
What I'm saying, I depend on my money, sir.
Dreadlock, your client still to lose faith in you? Because I'm going to give you your sentence now. Life imprisonment for you, Barrister Dreadlock.
Yeah.
You no longer want to meet you. I am Judge Dredd, and I am saving the black nation.
Cheat.
Yes, I'm Dread and Dread. Tell the barrister good. Take him down. Now, Zaki Palm.
Yes, sir.
Grab and flee.
Hey, this is a remembrance of my brother, you know. You see that club there, 77 on Holloway Road, right opposite the Metropolitan University right now, still there, but it's not a club. That way I'm chain with this said man here.
I shall deal with you. I shall deal with you.
True inspiration.
I don't want to cry, and you got to plead. Don't cry. You thought the barrister was a big shot. In my court, he's a small crop. He's gone, and you are going to.
Yes.
I'm going to put upon you a symbolic sentence.
Symbolic, man.
This sentence the amount of years the devil have been given to rule God's righteous people that you have been killing. Your sentence is now 6,000 years imprisonment. And if you come back before me, I shall lynch you. I am here to save the black nation.
Did you hear that? So we're not playing no foolishness, you know. You hear that? Prince Buster said, him here to save. You understand? We're going to play that on Tuesday again. So you get the fullness. You understand? Save the black nation. 6,000 years, you know, and if you ever come back, I have blood bad, I tell you. Tipper Tone. The song can't call Tipper Tone, them can't play them tune here, you know. Tipper Tone. Set you. And you don't know them tune they make we. You understand? A bag of tune like this make we, you know. We have like 12 tune that bless the sound and make the man them feel airy. You understand? Selector feel good, because him know that the people them recognize and defend this sound with. A same as Tipper Tone a yard, the same Tipper Tone there. Brad, stop your foolishness, boy. You don't know things, man. What's best? Right. Settle King Tubbies. Osborne Road up. Brother Sharp. You think, said, I was a juvenile when them tune come.
No, I don't want to.
Just Stitch.
Be outside.
Black Harmony. Ja Artist. Jawal. Teeth and tongue will tell. Easy Benga. You think say we left you? Can't do that, man. Could never do that. We love you well. We love you for your ingenuity. We love you for what? Your honesty, your courageousness. We love you for what? Being an African, Most High. You don't know your name? Most High, Benga. We love you for all of those things, Aya. And we can't stop doing it. And we will never see family, pain, misery and suffering and pain. I see all of us. See, what did I tell the eye? By association, the eye will get themselves in a trouble. See, an eye older than you, listen to the eye by association. See, watch them. As a line of Judah, we stamp all over you. Tremble not, but understand this. We love you. Yeah. We love you. Yeah. Gaze a while, give your face a rest. Skank easy. Hey, bright lights. I grade, man. Greetings to Most High, Benga Eye. Fulani, Yoruba, Hausa. Yeah, Nigerian, man. So that was for you. So here what me have to show you now still, my brethren. No Man's an Island. Cool it. Cause we rule it. Don't get foolish. I and I. D-Bro.
brother,
isn't it?
and remember, each man's dream has your own. Now we need one another, oh yes, and we ought to try to be friends. Each man has a brother.
Here we go!
A friend. You can live in this world all by yourself. No, you can't make it alone. And just as sure as you try to make it by yourself, you're gonna wake up and find you're gonna need somebody else.
I feel it, no
love, oh yes. No man stands alone.
No, sir.
As a brother, and remember, each man's dream has your own.
No, sir.
From music to play them on the F already.
Let go big chore, big chore, big chore, big chore.
London team.
Talking about some farmer medicine.
I know, sir.
Come from in Africa. Yes, you're talking about the medicine. Yes, you come from in Africa. What me say? Chop bitter nut, cocoa butter. Yes, it good for your daughter. It have to set up your structure, set up your heart and your kidney. Yes, it set up in your body. Set up.
I don't deal with man. I don't go to Manchester or Mandeville. And I believe things are going to happen. I don't use the word manifest. And if there is a problem, I don't use a manual. You understand? I don't even have no manners in us, and this DJ is very talented. A lot of them are hypocrite, and they don't like him.
Here we go!
What do you think I can, DJ?
See that? Oh!
Non-stopping, hot rocking, back-to-back music. The hits just keep coming.
You don't know it, but London team.
Talking about some farmer medicine. Come from in Africa. Yes, you're talking about the medicine. Yes, you come from in Africa. What me say? Chop bitter nut, cocoa butter. Yes, it good for your daughter. It have to set up your structure, set up your heart and your kidney. Yes, it set up in your body, set up in your mommy. Me say it good for your daddy. Holy for energy is I was saying. Not cocoa butter. Well, it gives a lot of energy. Natural born energy. No false kind of energy. Tell you, they bitter nut cocoa butter. Yes, it good for your structure. Well, it good for your daughter. Me say it good for you.
Tell them boy, they never get covered in a car fire. Just get out.
Cocoa butter. Where you come from? Say down in Africa. Bitter nut cocoa butter. Well, it good for your daughter.
It's the coolest station online.
Yeah,
that's us. Cause we play this.
Give you a whole heap of energy. Yes, it's better than a Hennessy. What me tell you? Say it good for your kidney. Well, it good for your liver. It no make your heart kind of shiver. No make your body kind of quiver. Yes, I did bitter cocoa butter. Good for your daughter. That better not cocoa butter. Come set up a structure with original medicine. I tell you.
Mad
It's a
Professor.
natural healing.
Yeah.
It's a natural believing.
Mad Professor.
In a the nut cocoa butter.
Change it, man.
It a nut cocoa butter.
Oh gosh.
Make we set up with structure.
Mad Professor coming through.
Good for your brains, as I would say.
Yeah. You right.
Uh-huh.
Daddy right. Yes, Principal. Me I tell you, man. Kick it. Hey, bright lights. Go on, man. I agree. Set it.
Every part's original.
Listen.
No, we don't have no false parts, as I would say. Well, from head to toe, you want to know. Oh, yes, that's how we go.
Kick them, man.
Do you know about it? Come let me tell you about it.
Yes.
Talk to them, Aisha.
Talk
yes,
to them.
I know how it feels to be hungry. Do you know?
Baby.
I wonder, do you know?
The DJ accepts no responsibility for the next record.
I know.
This is a request.
What do you know? You don't know. Like I really know. Yes, I know. Cause she's the mother of civilization. And she's the sister of civilization.
Listen.
Yes, the daughter come from rule the nation. Yes, we have been telling to the world. Yes, we tell it to all the little boys and all the little girls. Do you know what it takes to be
Non-stopping, hot rockin', back-to-back music, the hits just keep coming.
What it takes to be homeless? Yes, don't even have a dress, as I would say. Say, do you know, yo? Do you know what it takes to be abused, to be used and refused, as I would say? You never know. Yes, you could not know. Yeah, you gotta be a soldier like that, as I would tell you, you know what I mean? You ever been a soldier in this army?
Skank easy,
man. You gotta believe. Yes, what I gotta say to you. Yes, you know. No, never know. Yes, you never know. Oh, yes, you never know. You really know about the African sister. Yes, you know about the African
version. I'm saying global radio. You know things global, it's not local. Real quick for Martic.
Sister, yes, you rule the nation. Tell it to the whole generation. Now you know. Yes, you never know. You never know. I know you couldn't know unless I tell you. You never know. How about the African sister? No false parts, no false breasts, no false bum. Everything original, I would say.
Yeah.
Do you know about the African sister? You never know about the African daughter,
African queen.
Don't you know? Yes,
you know, tell you, man. Yeah.
In the city there's no pity.
No pity, I would say.
So I'm gonna go back there.
You want version? I'm saying global radio. You know the thing global, local. Real quick for Martic.
Man, I go back in Africa.
It's a must.
Chinese man, I go back in China.
But I don't make no fuss about that.
Syrian, I go back in Syria.
Yeah.
Indian, I go back in India. Man, I go back in Europe.
Anything them do, we not gonna make no fuss about that. Yes, we have to go home, as I would say. Repatriation is a must. Tell you, we have to forward home. One called Donald Trump, the US president, say 11 million undocumented immigrants have to forward home. Find them way, as I would say. Get from them every way home, as I would tell you. Yes, I saw the man say that he have to forward home. Pack up your things and go home. But anything them try to do, them can't stop not the dread farm go through. Can't get I man down as I will tell you. No, them could have never tried to get I out. Yes, we know we will out. Anything them say, we don't care about that. I want them up to say. And anything they want to do, I man no care what them really wanna do. Repatriation is a must. And no, we really not gonna make no fuss. We really and truly not make no fuss, as I was saying. Ain't gonna make no fight.
Yes, they forgot to go back home.
Yes, they gotta go back home, yo.
When the right time come, it will be dread for some.
Dread.
But no one can stop the righteous
dread.
Repatriation is a must. We all have to go back there.
So make we open the gate and make we repatriate. But open up the gates and we repatriate.
It's the coolest station online.
Why man I go back in a Europe?
Cause we
China man I go back in a China. But India not be go back in a India. Syria not be go back in a Syria.
See, that me I try showing you.
Listen to me now, brother.
Away you say,
contradicting yourself. Yeah.
Chronic Salvador's tell them say,
listen to me now.
Contradiction is global.
Yeah, contradiction global. The madness taking over. Too much man in a mix up. One bag a mix up. Rasta and lips up.
Contradiction global. Still good conquer evil. David still struggle Goliath. Make one more vibe. Yeah. Too many idolize bad days and slaves. I am in the sun just falling in a dark place. One love and one heart where the heart there. Nowadays you no cool if you no heartless. Flashy with a 9 like you lawless. Like justice I buy out a wallet. Well that a 6 for a 9 and a 9. You know the waste then a sentence to life cause
contradiction global. The madness taking over. Too much man in a mix up. One bag a mix up. Rasta and a mix up.
Expression.
Contradiction
in the ears.
Still good conquer evil. David still struggle Goliath. Make one wall a vibe, yeah. Well, Margarita no flankers. Where bullets are on pom pom pom. Who I call them big shots there? He might do it from a mansion. Slowly, like cancer spread out. I'll got them take out. Politician and gunman a link. So contradiction, run the thing, yeah.
A contradiction global. The madness taking over. Too much man in a mix up. One bag a mix up. Rasta and a mix up.
Contradiction global. Still good conquer evil. David still struggle Goliath. Make one wall a vibe, yeah. Contradiction is global.
Till I hear us a far right here. Every day I.
Yeah. Chronic Salvador's tell them.
Yeah, no.
We tell them right away.
I hear them talking positive. Inside and a good at all. One like say them big, yeah. And everybody else so small. Two face, two more, two lie. Coming like a living two lives. Yeah. Too good and too bad.
Yo, dubbing. Make them know it's a worldwide link. I want them a think. We up on the same boat, so nobody make it sing. Oh yeah. Saying no matter what nobody wants say. There is a lot of goodness out there. So don't you be selfish, cause you only get one life to live. Oh yeah. Saying no matter what nobody wants say. You got to live your life without a fear. So don't you
enemy and neighbor. Unfit the joy down, unfit paper. One day them a expire, can't use it later. Be a lover of life, don't be a hater. Help people now, even if a stranger. Risk your life when someone's in a danger. Not for the headlines in a newspaper. And you know Christ are your savior. Say yeah. Say no matter what nobody wants say. There is a lot of goodness out there. So don't you be selfish, cause you only get one life to live. Oh yeah. Say no matter what nobody wants say. You got to live your life without a fear. So don't you be foolish, cause you only get one life to live. You have to understand that love is the only way. Cause if you live in hate, then you will have to pay. Learn how to share with those who's in need of a helping hand. Better do good, and by your side shall we stand. Woo! Oh yeah. Say no matter what.
The streets of the say again. Tell the people them to wake up. Cause Rastafari never forsake us. We have to keep it real and burn the fake up. The evil system you need to shake up, yeah.
Shape up, man, we are
do. To wake up. Cause Rastafari never forsake us. The evil system you need to shake up. We have to keep it real and burn the fake. The one you can accomplish what you will. When Babylon want to see you broke, you just try to build. Alright, them say them serve and protect and still a kill. Them only want to see you try nil. But anyway, mountain steep, but we still a climb the hill. Hey, too much promises, me nah go take them pill. Me act like a fire, me nah come here so fi chill. Pagans have to go right them boy. I tell my people say fi wake up. Cause Rastafari never forsake us. The evil system you need to shake up. We have to keep it real and burn the fake up. Yeah.
What you did? What you do?
Wake up. Cause Rastafari never forsake us. The evil system you need to shake up. We have to keep it real and burn the fake. That one and name. Up the almighty race.
That's what that one name.
Them in a spaceship or hike for space. It's a religious war, them a fight for faith. And when you speak the truth, them not gonna like your face. Yeah. Cause them always a try for case. So them send the vampires, them for bite for taste.
We are done.
That's the fire, the heights for state. Give me the fire, make me go ignite. Some go so yo.
Fire burn you.
Them to wake up. Cause Rastafari never forsake us. We have to keep it real and burn the fake up.
We are done.
The system you need to shake up, yeah. I tell my people say to wake up. Cause Rastafari never forsake us. The evil system you need to shake up. But still
yeah, follow me now. Watch this.
I'm on say too much of the youth them fatherless. Too much of the systems failing. Too much of we not me loving and we yard. Too much grudge and too much envy, too much hating. Hey, too much of we really just can't find the strength to deal with all the problems that we facing. Hey, too much pain and too much suffering. People too much failing, but I'm not too much complaining. Hey, too much pressure bust the pipe and too much family that fight for pay the bills them every month and water and the light. Too much man say them can't find no work and no one hear them right. But then the foreman has said too much man I go on the site and then too much youth that over them bed hungry every night and too much for your loaf of bread, too much for your phone and my Simon say too much gonna fire in the silent paradise. As too much innocence and lose them life, and that is why too much of the youths them fatherless. Too much of the systems failing. And man say too much of we not me love in our yard. It's too much grudge and too much envy, too much hating. And then too much of we really just can't find the strength to deal with all the problems that we facing. It's too much pain and too much suffering. Weeping too much failing. But I'm not too much complaining.
And also,
you want too much innocent.
Already.
Let go big chore, big chore, big chore.
What will your answer be? Oh,
not what we'll get, just hate and brutality. Tell me when.
The DJ accepts no responsibility for the next record. This is a request. The DJ accepts no responsibility for the next record. This is a request.
Bleed my cause, soldier. We know to strive with we. You got to fight against those my teacher. When you try to hurt me. Bleed my cause, soldier. We know to strive with we. You got to fight against those my teacher.
And the big bag someone them can't tip on
when you try to hurt me. Because this is the land, the whole of them are heathen. Some boys sit down, a one man fi free them. I move funny, me show out. Here we go! So we go make some little gun bag and lead them. So me just hold my meditation deeper. That is my light and also my keeper. In my troubles is my quickest reliever. Me pray to Jah and the wicked get weaker. So me go supply my cause, soldier. Without the strive with we. You got to fight against those my teacher. When you try to hurt me, just clear the way for me.
So we have to go. Understand, after this, you read them up. You understand? Right after this. So we say give thanks.
I feel we sit or tell them feel low.
Here we go!
Gonna be the same way. There must be a change somehow.
Guidance.
There are bad times and good times too. So have a little faith in what you do, 'cause you don't seem to realize the things you've got to face in life. Today you're up, tomorrow you're down. So thank God that you're still around town. Whoa, my brother.
Guidance.
Though we've got to work like slaves,
read them up.